Welcome into the live stream here from McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal. That's Tyler.
What it is, sir?
How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. We just, had a little mini siesta. Wasn't really a siesta. It was a working siesta.
Yes.
It's been a busy week since we left here last Monday for all involved.
It has been it was definitely a busy week.
Yours was
first
more busy
of
than mine.
many busy weeks.
Yeah, let's go.
And months.
Yeah, I had a lot of quick use stuff last week. It's that time of year, and then we had graduation. We'll talk about it. I had a little graduation Friday that you had to come back for. You had to go do the SEC baseball tourney. First one in a while for you, huh?
It was the first one for me in 7 years.
Wow.
It was the first college baseball game I'd seen live in 7 years. I went over for Ole Miss and Florida, and then Ole Miss won. And I came back because Carson was graduating, as your son was, on Friday night. And I got up on Saturday morning and drove back to Hoover and covered Ole Miss and LSU. And Ole Miss won. And so I stayed in Birmingham and got a really good night's sleep Saturday night. And got up Sunday. They moved the game up because of inclement weather. And it
was nice of them.
I covered Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. And this weekend, and then on Monday, I walked into Swayze Field for the first time in 7 years.
Okay.
It was the first time I'd been in the stadium in 7 years, and did media stuff. And this weekend, I will cover a regional. That will be the first games I've covered at
7
at
years?
Ole Miss since the Ole Miss Tennessee Tech regional final.
I remember that one.
That was the last time I was in the stadium, and so I didn't really know where to go yesterday. It was interesting. It was like being on a new. It's been like being on a new beat, sort of. I don't know any of the players. I know Mike, and he's like, "Why are you here?" Which was a valid question.
Did he ask you that?
Yeah, I mean he's playful, but he's like, "Why are you? Well, it must be big for you to be here." And I'm like, well, "I'm the Lone Ranger, man." So
I saw your new avatar, by the way. It's very well done, sir.
Thank you. So that's my world.
I remember that was 2018, right? That Texas Tech,
Yes,
or Tennessee Tech.
7 years ago. Mm-hmm.
So I remember that very vividly because I was sitting in Tom Luke's office, and Brennan Chapman, who worked, shout out Brennan, I thought Brennan on Front Street here. Brennan Chapman, diehard Ole Miss fan. So he works at Ole Miss football, diehard fan group, the whole deal. So diehard Ole Miss people, they tend not to really like Mississippi State. And they're rivals. It's a thing, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
And so Mississippi State had played Florida State, I believe, or had played somebody earlier in the day.
Could be.
And they lost by a ton. They lost. It was a big. And so Brennan fires out a tweet that's like, sorry, missed the football game in Tallahassee. Did you go for 2 or just miss the extra point?
Okay.
Something. Did they go for 2 or they miss the extra point? And Tom Luke looked Brennan dead in the eye and said, "You just jinxed Ole Miss." And because it was rain or something, they hadn't played yet. And Ole Miss proceeded to go out there and get beat by Tennessee Tech. So his mentions were hot there for about a week or so.
I can only imagine.
It was like the ultimate haint, the ultimate jinx. And I always remember that from that because Tom was legitimate. He's big superstitious. He was legitimate. Like, you just jinxed us. Thanks. We're going to go get beat by Tennessee Tech. He's no, we're not. Sure did. That was a good Tennessee Tech team. They had like dudes on that team.
Yeah, they had guys on that team. Yeah, I remember because they had a break between the two games, and I had to go home for a little while during the break, and I kind of came back thinking, well, they'll win this one, whatever. And then no. That was an interesting couple of weeks.
Didn't work out so great.
But yeah, it was the last time I was there.
How about that?
I know.
Let's fire it up, dolls.
People don't believe me when I say that. I'm like, I don't really. Before now, I had a reason. I didn't really have a reason to go, and so.
Yeah, I go with my kids when they don't have things. No,
that's why they do they'll do the Arkansas stuff with me because I've had kids go there.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I I haven't been at a game at Arkansas since 2009 when I was covering Ole Miss. I mean,
Didn't have a reason to go.
I don't go to college games
unless you have to go.
unless I pretty much have to go.
Yeah, I will take my kids. I love going to college basketball games, so I try to go to a bunch of basketball games. Baseball, we will go, but it's just very difficult when you got two kids playing baseball. You know, they tend to play on the same days, so it makes it difficult. Let's fire it up.
Welcome into episode 285 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That's Tyler Siskey here on this Monday afternoon. We'll be with you today. I think Thursday. I don't know what we were talking about baseball in the pre-show. I don't know what the regional media press conference-y stuff is going to be Thursday.
The whole month, just be heads up.
There's
going to be some missing days.
This month is going to have a lot of sporadic misses and such, which is fine. It's June. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll be at it.
It's going to be all right. So
I got life. You got life.
Yeah,
you got things.
I got stuff.
I've
got stuff. So we'll figure it out. We'll keep you updated on social media and things of that nature. But we will be brought to you by our friends at Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push your limits and achieve your goals. So check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Neal, the Cooper Chevrolet chat is already bumping, and you can get truck month savings on all Chevy and GMC trucks. Take over $14,000 off MSRP on brand new Silverado pickups. Or you can get financing as low as 2.9% APR for 72 months. At Cooper Hyundai, you can get as low as 3.99 APR on the Hyundai Elantra, the Tucson, or the Santa Fe, or up to $2,000 in bonus cash now through the end of the month. So make sure you give our friends at Cooper Chevrolet a call at area code 256-236-4481. We're also brought to you by the official RV dealer of McCready and Siskey, County Line Campers. Right now, you can get unbeatable deals, flexible financing, and free orientation with every purchase. Our team of experts are here to guide you with every mile of the way. When you purchase from County Line, you will get full transparency every step of the way with no hidden fees ever. Make sure, do you have a trade? As long as we ain't got to feed it, we absolutely need it. So they pay more for quality trade-ins than any big box store down the street. And don't forget about the accessories and service department. They have a huge bay with six-bay service department that can complete any job needed on any RV. So if you need warranty repairs, as in Keystone, Forest River, or Gulfstream Repair Facility, bring them down to our good friends at County Line Campers. And as always, don't forget to follow them on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, so you can see Miss Destiny's walkthrough videos and deals coming up this season. And when you think about camping, think about County Line Campers. How about that?
How about that?
All right, let's crank her up. It felt like we couldn't really have a show. You know, we've been gone for a week. We couldn't really have a show. I wanted to publicly let you know that you were not correct.
Is that right?
You were. I want to publicly let you know that you were incorrect about something.
Okay.
You know, a couple weeks ago, we talked about graduation.
I get things wrong.
We talked about graduation and what would happen when they ask you to please hold your applause till all names have been, and you said, oh, man, it's bad. They really go there. I would like to let you know that you extremely undersold that.
It's true.
I was thinking about this. I think that's the first graduation that I've been to that wasn't mine. I don't think I've been to another graduation. So it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Been a minute. So the graduation, as you know, because you were there, was at the pavilion here at Ole Miss. We had 360 something ish people graduating. Is that right? 300 and something.
That sounds right,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
And they did. They asked, will you please hold all applause, because they're rattling off these names. And if somebody acting crazy, then, you know, the parents or whoever can't hear their child's name called.
Yes, that's
kind of the point.
That's the point.
You know, Aaron had told me, my wife, fellow three-time world champ, had told me at their high school, when she was graduating, they said that she said you probably couldn't do it today, but there was a principal said, if you do not follow instructions, we will escort you out. And they did. They had police officers there escorting people out. Said you probably couldn't do that today, but whatever. Well, brother, it lasted. I would like everybody to know that the Oxford High School graduation, that direction was followed. I counted 3 names in is when we started.
Oh, they make it that far?
They made it 3 names.
Okay.
We made it 3 names in, and it started, and to the point to where I felt really bad about, like, I was like, man, and look, my son's in the S's. We got a long way to go. And I start looking where he's sitting. I'm trying to figure out who's sitting next to him. Does this guy looks like he likes to party? Is this a popular guy? You know, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen here. I got very fortunate that Jackson was on the end of a row, so it was a little break in between. And whoever read the names first, the first guidance counselor, did a great job. Because if somebody was hooping and hollering, she paused for a second so everybody could hear their name. Second guidance counselor was just wrapping them off. So you were getting lost in the shuffle. So my 2 real complaints after going through this for the first time is, one is I had someone sitting to my right.
Oh, this was your first one?
First one.
Okay.
First one since I graduated personally.
Okay.
And it's been a minute. Whoever was sitting to my right, in the section to my right, was a lady, a grown lady.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming a mother, was about that age. That not only was she screaming, I'm talking about was letting out the blood curdling, like I'm getting stabbed scream, like the terrified scream, not like the seller. Like I looked like I thought somebody was doing harm to the lady. Like I looked, and she didn't do it just for hers. It happened about 3 or 4, and I was like, wow. And then we had somebody right by, we were sandwiched. We had a whole row right in front of us and a whole row behind us. And then I didn't know whether to be like, think that was rude, or think if it was like, thank you. I can't decide which one, but
it was definitely rude.
What I'm saying is like when their child, the people in our section that were raising Cain, when their child or whoever they were there to watch, when they went across the line, they got up and left. We see you. They did not stay.
Oh, I noticed that there was a good amount of that.
And so I was like, I don't know. Should I be thankful or should I be like, that's rude? I didn't know.
Both.
I didn't know which one to go with. I was a little confused there. But yeah, you completely undersold that. That was not the picture that you gave me. That it did not fit. And so it was.
Well, I will tell you that was our 3rd OHS graduation, and that they have deteriorated in decorum each and every time.
That's rough.
And it's now to a point where it's now to a point where, I think it's just expected.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I got to go through it again next year, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it will. If the trends,
it'll be worse.
Continue, it'll be worse.
Awesome. And I don't have any, before we get to Super Chat, I don't have, we usually do travel baseball icks, but we had 3 rain delays during our game. So we shot the deuce after the last one. So we didn't, I feel bad for the team that showed up thinking they were going to play us, and we were already at the house. But we did have a small ick on Sunday. It's a repeat ick. I thought you would get a kick out of this. These are the guys that are coaching teams. There was a coach on the other team. It was 1st and 3rd. They had 1st and 3rd on us, okay? Obviously, it's 9 years old. They're stealing second base. Well, he does. He steals. The guy hits a foul ball. And he started arguing, trying to talk the officials and saying that since he was stealing second base, he was already halfway there, he should be awarded second base on a foul ball. I just
just gotta let it go.
Just gotta let it go.
Just gotta let it be.
And I said something. Right. I felt bad because I was like, I'm not really aware. I just see him arguing. I'm like, are you serious right now? You're going to argue that with the umpires? And the umpires, these were the same 2 guys from last week that had no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, these guys may actually do it. And then Drew's like, I got him. I was like, my bad. I hate that. I don't want to be that guy. So I was like, yeah, that was the only really ick I had. Webb, appreciate the super chat. It says, what are your thoughts on Austin Simmons' development? Do you think he's better than Dart at this point. The kid is uber smart. Whereas this is probably for you, Neal, if you want to answer it. Where's Carson going to college? Best to both of you on an amazing show as always, Webb. Appreciate you, Webb. Look, I think Austin Simmons, I've said on here many times, I think he's immensely talented. I've seen the kid throw even before he got here. He's legitimately talented. This is going to go on deaf ears. I understand that when I say this. Let the kid take a deep breath and get some reps. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to do some amazing things. I also think he's going to make some freshman mistakes because it's new. Okay, so he is very smart, very talented. Let the kid grow up. I'd say the same thing to people about Arch Manning. I'd say the same people about Ty Simpson. First-year starters, unless I'm missing something, I don't remember the last time a first-year starter just blew through the league without any mistakes. I think it just takes time, and there's going to be issues that happen.
Yeah, I think that's more than fair. He also has a pretty much renovated receiver room outside of Caden Lee, so might take a little while to build some chemistry. I know you can do some of that in the spring and that kind of thing, but you don't really get to do it until the season, when there's just a different, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's just a different game speed that happens in games that really can't be completely replicated in practice.
Well,
you can come close, but you can't do the down by down, full contact game speed in practice on a consistent basis.
It'll never be that, right?
Right.
You're throwing 7-on-7. You don't have 4 to 7 dudes trying to hurt you.
Well, and just people people in your passing lanes and things of that nature. Just different.
It's different. But he's immensely talented. But speed of the game stuff, he's going to make mistakes. I'd just be extremely, extremely patient with him. Yeah, Cam Newton, I knew that was coming when I said that, but the difference is Cam Newton did it with his legs, okay? And he ran through around like he did. Cam Newton made bad decisions, but he would run through you, around you, or hurdle you.
And he was a little older too. And, he'd been at Florida and then had been at the JUCO.
Yeah, he had tasted it.
There was a little difference.
But still different skill
I think
set.
Austin's going to do really well. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback. Is he going to be as polished and savvy as Jackson Dart was in year 3? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't even know how to compare him to two.
I mean, there's a reason that Jackson was drafted in the first round.
Yes.
Is he as good today as Jackson Dart is today? Probably not.
No.
Is there a world where he's a better quarterback down the road? Sure.
Yeah, he's talented.
Yeah.
I mean, he's more arm talented than Jackson. Yeah. He's not as good of an athlete. I mean, as far as running and being physical and staying healthy because of the size, but he's definitely better arm talent. All right, let's crank her up. This has been really very entertaining to me on many levels. I was telling you one before. Greg Sankey is having a hell of a week. He's having a lot of fun this week. Great time to be Greg Sankey. I'm joking. He's probably just he's ready to burn some matches. I can tell you that. So first thing we'll start off is he had like a 48-minute press conference when he arrived in Destin.
He always does.
And we had some reporters getting a little contentious with my man Greg Sankey. Y'all better leave my guy Greg Sankey alone now. I love me some Greg Sankey. I really do. I think he's one of the best. I'm a big Greg Sankey fan.
I'm in the exact same boat. It's not a popular opinion with fans because fans, I think, of all schools think that everyone's picking on their school.
Yeah. I'm personally a big fan.
I think he does a terrific job and has done a terrific job at the SEC.
So the first big thing is the college football playoff and the AQs getting in the playoff and them revamping and all that stuff.
Automatic qualifiers. And so first things first is they went to they renovated for this next year. They will go straight seating in the playoffs. Okay. Needed to be done. Again, it's Boise doesn't like it and some other teams aren't going to like it, but straight seating needed to be done. While I also agree with Greg's point that Greg Sankey made, is that it's not really, everybody talks, well, it's not fair. Well, it's also not fair for a team to earn the right, be a top 7 seed or whatever, like Tennessee. In a straight seeding format, they would have hosted a first round game instead of them having to go on the road, right? So I think it does need to be straight seeded. I'm all in on that. But here's what I'll say about the AQs. And so there's all these different formulas. You come up with people, the SEC and the Big Ten want 4-4, and even some of that's unfair, but 4-4
2-2-1. And then you got the Big 12 and the ACC. How about let's do 4-4, 3-3-1. Look, my kind of opinion on this, and you may agree or you may disagree. You may tell me to kick rocks.
Oh, I have a very, very easy opinion when you get to it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what model that they come up with. Somebody's getting screwed. Okay. So, like, even if you do, like, for me, even if you do straight, just all at large deals, I mean, somebody's getting screwed. And if you go to the 4, there's a place where, okay, there's going to be years where SEC could get 5 and all that. Somebody, it's not going to be right. So no matter really what they come up with, I don't think they can be right. I think doing it long term may not be healthy, and I don't know. I just don't have I'm not getting hung up on a 4-4, 2-2-1 or 4-4-3. I'm not really getting hung up on that. I just don't think any solution that they come up with, minus of going everybody's at large. I don't know. I got one too, but they're not going to do it. But I just don't think in the 12-team format. How about that? In the 12-team format, somebody's going to get screwed always.
How many teams? They're going to 16.
They're going to 16.
Take the top 16 teams, seed them 1 through 16, and play a tournament.
Okay.
There you go. That's it.
I'm with you here. All right. Now
that's it.
That's what I was going with. All right. But hear me out. I'm not disagreeing with you, by the way.
I mean, I know that's not great podcast, but it's what we do in the other sports.
Kind of.
I mean, well, we have one qualifier.
No, I'm not talking about the qualifiers.
I mean, but it's pretty much what we do in the NCAA tournament and basketball. The baseball tournament field just came out. They basically ranked the teams 1 through 16 and gave them all a regional and put 2s in there and put 4s in there and 3s in there, whatever. It's 64 teams. So you don't have to do 64 teams in football. You're only going to do 16. At least for now. And so seed them 1 through 16 and then just play the damn thing out. Have a tournament. It's not complicated. You don't even have to do these silly 13 versus 16 and 14 versus 15 to move into the 14-team tournament where you have buys and buys. Okay, whatever. But if you're going to do that, seed it 1 through 16 and put 13 versus 16 and 14 versus 15. You're making it more complicated than it has to be. Instead of going 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, etc. Play those games on campuses. Play the games on campuses. And then after that, if you want to move games around and put one in the Citrus Bowl or put one in the Outback, whatever they call it now, fine. But this whole thing about, well, we really got to emphasize fairness. Here's the thing. And this is what Greg Sankey said yesterday.
Shipped it.
Here's the thing. Greg Sankey's job is not to be fair. Greg Sankey's job is not to look out for the betterment, whatever that means, of college sports.
He made that known.
Greg Sankey's job is to represent his 16 constituents.
Yep.
Alabama, I can do it in alphabetical order. Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, and the list goes on all the way to Vanderbilt. That's his job. That's his only job. Until someone names him czar of college athletics, at which point he'll have a different mission statement.
Correct.
But people keep doing this thing where they ask the Big Ten and the SEC, hey, why don't we do something that's going to be good for everyone? Because we don't care.
Yeah,
I don't know why that's so hard.
There was probably a time years ago, but that thing sailed a long time ago.
Why would the SEC agree to anything? This is why the House settlement is never going to work. It's the same principle. Why would you ever agree to something that's going to limit you artificially? Why? Why would you do that?
No, I don't think. Here's my thing when it comes to playoffs, just being a part of it. And this is what I said, I kind of agree with you. I really do. But, like, you're always going – we don't have to go – you know how you said it, hey, basketball does this, baseball does this. We already have an example. The FCS and Division II inside the NCAA have been doing football tournaments for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay? Just hear me out here. They're going to argue over 16. Guess what happens when they get to 16? because the FCS went through this too. I was part of
They're
it.
going to go bigger.
They're going to want to go to 20, and then finally they've settled on a number
at 24.
At 24.
Mm-hmm.
Now hear me out. FCS has like somebody's going to have to go look it up, but it's like 138-ish teams that play FCS football. FBS is like 133. So similar number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
So they take 24 teams, Neal. They seed them 1 through 16. It's a 5-week process. Okay. 5-week playoff. And all 16 teams get a home game. Okay. Because the top 8 get buys to the next week, and the lower 8 get home games on campus.
Right.
That would provide, if you're a top 16 team, you would be guaranteed an on-campus playoff game. That's a lot of money for a lot of people.
Sure.
Okay. And then you get 24. And in my personal opinion, in college football, particularly in the FBS level, brother, if you're not in the top 24, you don't need to be in the tournament anyway.
Of course.
Okay. I mean, I don't care how hot you got at the end or whatever it is. My fear is this. It's not even a fear. This 4-4, this. Sankey's going to be under a lot of pressure. And then he admitted so on that long press conference. I'm sick and sadistic. I watched the whole thing. There's a lot of hesitancy to give up the championship weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a lot of hesitancy, admittedly so, because there's a lot of money in it.
Well, I'm kind of like Steve Sarkisian on this a little bit. I agreed with him.
What did he say? I missed
it. He
it.
said, kids want to play for a championship.
Yeah.
You're in the SEC. I mean, the game the other day I covered, Vanderbilt and Ole Miss and Hoover, it wasn't particularly meaningful. Vanderbilt was going to be the one overall no matter what. There's a world, I don't think it was a particularly realistic world, and Ole Miss basically agrees with me, that Ole Miss gets a national top 8 seed if they beat Vanderbilt.
I think they would have got it if they won, huh?
Maybe.
They would have jumped enough.
So maybe. But the point is they were in the tournament. They were going to host. They're going to the postseason, okay? The principle of my argument stands.
Yeah.
The two teams really competed. Why? Because you get a trophy. It means something to people to compete for a championship. It means something down the road to be able 30 years later to go, hey, we were SEC champions. We won the SEC tournament. Whatever, right? Mm-hmm. It does. It means something. And so I've said this, my same little mantra over and over and over. When you make something only about money, it becomes only about money. And when you make something only about money, it loses a lot of its sentimentality. And I hate to break it to people, but college sports are kind of built on sentimentality.
Yeah, no, it does.
They're kind of built on sentimentality because if I go to a college game and then I go to a pro game and I go, which game has better quality? Well, the pro game does because they have better players.
Yeah.
So the college game is built on sentimentality, and you have to be careful that you take that away so that when 20 years from now, someone goes, well, who won the 2026 SEC championship? I don't know. They didn't play it. But let me tell you who won the game between the 3 and the 6. The what?
Yeah.
This is stupid. It's just stupid.
Well, that whole, like, and then somebody had to help me with this one too. Like, that's another thing that they better really think through before they start doing the 3 and the 6 and the 4 and the 5 thing. Now, you can go and say, but if you looked at the SEC standings last year, there's a bunch of teams in that tied for 6.
I just question why the SEC would agree to that. I really do.
Yeah. I just don't.
I mean, it's not about who would have won, and people start on those debates. Well, Ole Miss beat South Carolina or Tennessee, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that 3 to like 7 or 8,
it's like flipping a coin.
Is
sometimes.
Like put them in a hat. Right? It could have literally been decided where you had a game that was decided in overtime or a game that got decided because somebody had an injury or whatever. But the point is those teams are all sort of the same. Why would the SEC agree to a system that eliminates some of its teams? You just wouldn't. It's dumb.
Yeah, it goes.
And I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't.
And the other thing is playing a damn game. Instead of having 2 teams play and have a bye week or whatever it is before they play the playoffs, you got 4 teams with 2 teams winning. They could have another game to get hurt or whatever it is, right?
Just turn right around and play
again. So I just, again, I'm with you. The straight seeding, I would like to see it go to 24 though. So now you don't have, look, if it goes to 24, the best teams are going to get in. Straight seed that damn thing. Do what FCS does. We got an example. Let's do it and be done with it.
I mean, I'm fine with 24 if that's what they do. You're at that point. at that point, you are truly watering down the regular season to a place that 4 lost teams are going to make it. You know what I mean? And that's fine.
But it would be good. It would keep you if you had a 4. But here's what it would be okay to, like, if they to play games, okay, like to play meaningful regular season games.
Yeah.
Because and Sankey said this too. Thank God somebody else said it finally. He admitted it, like, football was the only sport last year that getting to a certain number of wins mattered. It didn't matter quality opponents last year.
Yeah.
It was wins.
Yeah.
And so playing these big games, that's the whole, we'll talk about the 9-game schedule thing.
So you're de-incentivizing. If you use that system,
yeah,
you're like Texas, Ohio State, they ought to cancel it. I mean, there's no reason to play it.
The only reason, I'm sure they don't want to, these games have been scheduled. So I wonder what the new conversations are like.
But you understand my point.
I 200% understand.
I mean, at some point, like, I'm bringing Ole Miss stuff in here. This is not an Ole Miss show. Forgive me for doing this. I liked Mike Bianco's answer yesterday. He was asked, because some schools are playing, some of the host teams in the SEC, I think Texas, LSU, Arkansas, somebody else, maybe it's Florida. It doesn't matter. Georgia, I think. It doesn't matter. It's not the point. Play the Friday game early instead of the Friday game late. And there's advantages and disadvantages, and that's not the point. That's not the point of the argument. I liked what he said, though. He said, why are you – Chase Parham asked him, have you given that any consideration, whatever? And he goes, no, not really. He goes, I know other people do it.
They get to choose?
Yeah. Yeah, the host site gets to choose, do you play the early game or the late game?
Cool.
And so I think 4 of the 8 SEC teams are playing the early game, and the other 4 are playing the night game. And whatever makes you. But his answer was, I don't think that'd be fair to the fans. And I was like, huh. It's nice. That's good. And I'm being serious. Good. At LSU, the fans are going to come in, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not the point. The point is, it was like, yeah, at some point, perhaps college people should think about the fans. You're asking a lot of them. And I'm talking about football now. I'm not talking about baseball.
No.
I'm going back to football. If you're asking people, hey, you're a Texas fan, okay? I don't know what Texas season tickets cost. I'm
not cheap.
I'm sure they're expensive. I'm sure that you're asking for parking and you're asking for, a seat license, a donation to the Longhorn Association. I don't know what they call it. I'm not making fun. I just don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you get hit up all the time to, hey, sure would be nice if you'd pay us some money to help us buy some more players. But guess what? Because we're not going to, that Ohio State game you were excited about, we're not going to play it. We're going to play Abilene Christian instead. We still need you to come.
Still need you to donate.
Still need you to donate. That game's going to be 67-0. You know it. We know it. I just think at some point they've got to start. But the way it is now, I think they're taking the fans for granted because so far it's proven that you can. I'm not going down that road again. I look at it and go, why not just seed the best teams, incentivize strength of schedule, incentivize playing quality opponents the way that you do in basketball, the way that you do in baseball. Just bring that formula over and then seed the damn thing 1 through 16 and play it.
Yeah. I think one big thing we have, I think there's a big fallacy. Football is the only sport. We talked about this a long time ago, briefly, but I think football has a big fallacy in that it's the only sport. Baseball doesn't do it. Basketball doesn't do it. It's the only sport where the actual committee that's making the selections releases polls starting week 8 in the season, and they end up putting themselves in a box. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what I mean by that, and I love them to death, but like SMU played Pitt last year. Okay. SMU played Pitt like week 7 or 8, whenever it was. They were both undefeated. All right. And SMU, or maybe SMU lost one, but SMU beats Pitt and they jump the next week in the polls because they beat an undefeated high-ranked team. And then they were kind of just left there and they went up from there. They didn't go down.
Even though it turned out that Pitt.
And then Pitt lost every game the rest of the season.
Right.
And so when they release these deals mid-season, it puts themselves in a box to where if you don't release them, then you just come out and say, hey, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And so it's the only sport. You still have bracketology. All ESPN.
But what would I watch on Tuesday night at 6:30?
Well, you can do bracketology for football. You know what I'm saying? They do the same thing for basketball without knowing the truth.
Yeah.
They do. They do the exact same thing.
I'm totally with you.
And you tell them.
I've made fun of the show. It's a dumb show.
Let's be honest. Could you and I, let's be dead serious. Could you and I do a bracketology show for football without knowing anything?
Yeah.
It would be that easy. These guys are probably out. I mean, it's not hard.
Sure.
And so you can do the same thing for football. But the committee this past year put themselves in a box because teams had played 7 games, some 8, but teams had played 7 games, and they started giving people bumps for beating other teams that turned out not to be that good instead of doing a whole work thing. And then they were rewarding. They were not punishing. All right, let's say SMU goes and plays. I don't even know their schedule. Let's say they played Tennessee, Chattanooga. They wasn't going down for that for a strength of schedule or anything like that. They either stay where they were going up. And I think that's where we got, set up in a lot of this stuff is wins and losses and when you did it. But that's the only thing I got there.
Listeners, this is for those of you wanting out of corporate America, looking for your next business venture. If you're interested in learning about buying a business or a franchise, Andy Ludicky can help. He's a longtime, diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. Andy will work with you to help you find a franchise or a business that fits your DNA, fits your skill sets, your goals. Andy's an awesome guy. I've sat down with him, had a couple of beers, a couple times. He loves to help others. Just call him, learn more about his process and services, which, by the way, are 100% free. It's a no-brainer for those of you wanting to get into business ownership. By the way, speaking of college baseball, Andy's a big college baseball fan. And for every person that he works with from here, he will donate $500 to $1,000 to your favorite college baseball team, wherever that team may be. Even if it's Pitt or SMU, he'll donate to your business. So call Andy. He's a great guy, ton of business experience to lean on throughout the process. It's Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901. We're also brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company. They're located in the heart of Cajun country right there in Broussard, Louisiana. Their simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it quite well. They've got the Doctor. It's Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley. The Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. They've also got Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA. It's absolutely fantastic. They've got Envy. They've got Canebrake. They have a coffee stout called Revy, which is fantastic. Wherever you look for beer, look for Parish Brewing Company. You will not regret it.
Neal, did you know spring is in the air? And right now at Kia of Meridian, we got the coolest whips and the coolest people to help you drive off in style. Whether you're looking for a fuel-efficient K4, a spacious Telluride, or something sporty like the K5, the Seltoast, we've got it all at prices that will make you say, let's roll. Don't let the tariffs scare you away from Kia of Meridian. Our fan favorites are built right here in the US of A. With interest rates as low as 1.9% on select models, with fresh deals, friendly faces, and fun rides, come see us at Kia Meridian, where spring savings are in full bloom. And don't forget to mention the McCready and Siskey Show, and Trav's going to pull it out, and you can spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. So check them out at Kia Meridian and give them a call at area code 601-483-6444. We're also brought to you by the official RV dealer of McCready and Siskey, County Line Campers. Remember, right now, you can go get the best accessory and service department in the state of Mississippi, right there at County Line Campers, right off exit 38, I-10 in Gulfport, Mississippi. It doesn't matter if you have a Keystone, a Forest River, a Gulf Stream, they repair it all. They got a huge selection, huge discounts. You go take care of them. If you got a trade, they'll take it. You want to go get a new RV? They got you. If you're doing anything with your RVs, go see our good friends at County Line Campers and check them out at countylinecampers.com. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
Incredible.
All right. Just quickly, another thing they're going to talk about as a 9-game conference schedule. Going to that, we just kind of talked about all the reasons why you would or you wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. Well, I, as a consumer product and about money, I think going to a 9-game schedule should be done for the fans and for the money. I just don't know, without having certainty on what the future holds as far as college football playoff and all that stuff, I don't know how you pull the trigger on that. Just me personally. Because if it's about wins, like I just said, if you add a 9th conference game, you're adding 8 losses per math, you're adding 8 losses to your conference.
Yep.
So until things change or they get the way you want them to get, I just don't know how you can pull the trigger on that.
The only way they'll do it is just the money.
If
the money gets to a point where it helps pay for some of the house settlement stuff that people are preparing for, if it helps you with offsetting those expenses to the point that it becomes comfortable, then you'll do it. If it doesn't, you won't.
Yeah, you want to win or you want money? That's kind of what it comes down to. I mean, that's whichever one you see fit. I just don't see them with,
for some people,
no direction on either.
For some people, they look at it. This is where you have different programs in different conferences. You have programs in conferences that, at least right now, and some of this changes, but you have programs in conferences that right now are focused on competing at the highest level of football, and you have some that aren't. And the ones that aren't are like, yeah, let's play the 9th game. Give me the money. I'll use that money. That'll help us pay for some of our expenses. Like I'm not picking on anybody here. If you're at Mississippi State right now, you're nowhere close to competing as of this moment. And someone's going to offer you, just to play one more game, they're going to offer you another $8 million. Hard to turn that down.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
Because it's going to be hard for anybody to turn it down.
Well, I mean, but if you're Texas and you're
maybe Texas and
Tennessee, yeah, they might look at it and go, well, I don't know. But
the coaches will be like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, the coaches are all like, no, I'm good. I'd rather play.
I'd rather keep my job.
I'd rather play Abilene Christian again.
9-3 looks a hell of a lot better than 8-4.
Sure, but it's just it's.
No, it does. I mean, I'm with you.
It's a financial thing, but most fans, not the diehards, but most fans would probably rather see another conference game.
Oh, 100%. All right, no matches to be burned today because there still is not a decision on the House versus the NCAA. Still not one. It's been there. I don't know how long it's been going on now. We're about a month away from whatever's going to happen, like going into effect, if it is or it's not. I'm having a tough time. It's the only thing I'll say about it. I found myself over this weekend during the rain delays when I'm sitting there and I just have time to think about things. And I have to talk, as you know, in my day job, I have to talk about this a lot in my day job.
Yep.
And with everything I've been talking about and talking to people about, I can't decide. I'm having a very difficult time deciding if I'm more for her just throwing the whole case out and seeing what happens, or if I want her to approve it and watch all the schools just tell the federal judge to kick rocks. I can't decide which one that I want to happen more. Like I don't know if I want to see it. Like I'm having a very difficult time deciding, do I want it to go through and watch all the teams go, nope, we're doing our state laws, we see you, or her to throw it out and see all of these teams that were counting on it to pay for players in these contracts go null and void. I don't know which one I want to see. I don't know which one I want to see more. Like I can't decide which one I want. I don't know what side of the fence I want to be on yet. I'm going to be happy regardless. There's going to be fun. Something's going to be. I'll buy my popcorn and see what's going on.
If it goes into effect, it's going to get sued into oblivion. If she throws it out, it's just mass chaos. But if she doesn't, but it's chaos that was predictable. And so I'm almost hoping, as an absolute just masochist here, that she throws it out and goes, you people are idiots. I'm done with you. This is not how I'm going to spend my retirement. I'm going to go look at the flowers now. And a lot of places are like, well, so we don't really have $20 million, right? It's that we promised $20 million and we don't really have it. So would you like to renegotiate? And I mean, that's going to be mass chaos and all that. And I don't know where it's going.
I don't know where it's going. I just don't know what side I'm pulling for. To be what is? I mean, one of the two is going to happen, right? She's either going to prove it or she's not.
I think she's going to approve it, and then I think it's going to be sued into oblivion, and you're going to have restraining things.
Well, there's already states that just said, "Hey,"
and states like Tennessee
kick rocks. And then there's 9 of them.
Like the story about we'll kick you out of the league. It's like, yeah, good luck with that.
I want that's what I'm hearing. Like that's the part I'm like, okay, were they really going to do that?
No.
Well, it's like my guy, and I love him to death. We've already talked about it. I love my guy to death.
I mean, the SEC's not kicking Tennessee out of the league.
It's like Greg Sankey, who was talking about. He was talking about collective bargaining and all that stuff and what we don't need it and all that stuff. He said they just need to follow the rules. What, Greg? I agree with you. Everybody just needs to follow the rules. Just not going to happen.
But he basically said what I've been saying for a couple of years now, which is even if Claudia Wilkin, the Judge
Wilkins,
I think it's just Wilkin.
Is it Wilkin?
Wilkin.
My bad.
Whatever.
I respect Dominique though.
Yeah, I don't think they're related.
Good chance they're not.
I mean, she's a lot older than him. I mean, she's too old to be. I don't know.
No.
Because Neek's
Neek's
50-something.
in his 50s
yeah,
easy.
no.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Somewhere down the line.
Anyway, I think it's Wilkin,
okay,
not Wilkins.
All right. I figured you get the humor on that one.
Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. Even if she puts it into effect, a lot of people are going to disobey it. At the end of the day, and this is essentially what Sankey is saying, he's just saying it a little nicer.
He does a good job with that, by the way.
It dovetails with something Kirby Smart said today. At the end of the day, if you're waiting for Congress or a judge or anything else to come in and settle the president, anyone, if you're waiting for that to happen, it's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. They've told you they're not going to do it.
Well, they've paused the committee thing.
You're going to have the discipline internally to say, these are our rules. We are implementing these rules, and we are going to stick by these rules even when you people sue. Even when you fight us, we're going to stick to these rules. And those rules are going to mean that sometimes we're going to have to dial the competitiveness down a little and do something for the greater good. And that's why I wrote in my 10 weekend thoughts, and thought number 2 was good luck. That's not going to happen. Greg Sankey knows that that's the answer. Kirby Smart today made a comment. He's right. He goes, we just have to figure out what the portal window is. Put it somewhere and stick to it. We just need to do it there so that we can
moving the goalpost.
So we can have our team and work our team. He's right. But to do that, everyone's going to have to stick to it. And when some kid goes, no, I'm suing so I can get in the portal on March the 9th, everyone goes, fine, you can get in the damn portal if you want to. No one's adding you. Good luck with that. In other words, there is no fix. It's not fixable. The only way that anything ever changes, and I'm not cheering for this, don't get me wrong, I'm not. People think that I'm cheering for this. It's in my best interest for this, what I'm about to say, not to happen, is a large enough percentage of the fans and the donors get turned off to the point that they stop fanning and they stop donating.
Money well dries up.
That's it.
But it ain't slowing down. Like I don't think the fan experience is slowing down a lick.
No.
I told somebody that I said the best description I can give.
Dude, Hoover was packed. And Hoover's full of.
And it used to be non-packed.
And those teams were full of players that transferred in from all over the place. The days of, like, there was a time when if you played at Auburn, like I covered Auburn for years, right? They had Gabe Gross and some of those cats that were there. Brent Shaning, I think was his name. They had cats that had played at Auburn for 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
There's not much of that anymore. And the fans don't care.
No. The best way I described it to somebody the other day, it's like this is what it reminds me of. where we're at, I don't think and I listened to Josh Pate the other day last week, and he was talking about it, about not being, people say it's broke, it's not broke. Here's the best way to describe it is there is a big, beautiful, immaculate house. And when you did the home inspection, the foundation is cracked beyond belief. Cracked and butter and just beyond belief.
Is it
But
though?
instead, yes. But instead of, we're not fixing the foundation, we're just building a new house on top of the existing foundation. And so we're not fixing anything. We're putting Band-Aids on things. We're kicking the can down the road. But as long as this thing, and somebody, Greg, I thought it was interesting that Greg Sankey mentioned in the press conference that people around him asked him, why are we in the NCAA? That's the first time I've heard him say those words.
Well, because he doesn't have the authority to get the SEC out of the NCAA.
I thought that was
he has to have
interesting.
The institutions.
He could probably pick up the phone and get it pretty quick though.
And then do what?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, the Big Ten's already gone there. Big Ten's they got so the Big Ten and SEC, these meetings, again, I think it was more of him saying, I think Greg Sankey wants to make it work inside the NCAA. His deal with collective bargaining, in my opinion, is, which I've said since we started this whole deal, is the problem with collective bargaining is you can't do it inside the NCAA because it kills all the other sports. Now, even if it's some kind of NCAA subsection, which is they're trying to get to, maybe, but you still have to get the antitrust and get the collective. I do think if you ever want to stay out of court, collective bargaining does have to happen at some point in time if you want to stay out of court. If not, we're just going to keep chasing our tail one thing at a time. Nope, I'm done. That was it, actually. You're too late. Okay. You're too late. You're too late. All right, let's talk a little NBA. This will be right up your alley.
All right.
NBA, the Knicks and the Pacers will go to Game 4 tonight. The Pacers are up 2-1.
Awesome series. My God, it's been great.
All right, I still like the Pacers.
I like the Pacers too. Want to see some of the injury stuff. Want to see how healthy they are.
I think they get tonight, get to 3-1, and I don't think the Knicks can catch them. I think they get it to 3-1 tonight. But it's been a great series. And then
it's been so good. It's been so good. Game 3 the other night was just electric. It was the last 6-7 minutes of that game were so much fun. I know people don't like the NBA. It's fine. You don't have to. It's cool. It's all good. Like what you like. I'm a big live and let live person. I truly am. Like, I don't care what people do in their bedroom. I don't care.
Did you watch the comeback live?
Yeah.
When they were down, was it 9 with 30 seconds to go?
Yeah. In game 1?
Yeah. Did you watch that one live?
I had it on my computer.
Was that last Monday?
No, it was Wednesday. I was covering Ole Miss, Florida, and I had it on my computer. And Halliburton hit the shot that bounced up and then went down. I was like, oh, my God. The only times I ever get in trouble for cheering in a press box is either the Cubs or NBA.
I was watching. I had it on TV, right? But you see my setup. I had other TVs going on other things, and I didn't have any volume on anything. I see that they're down 9 with 30 seconds to go, and I kind of just glance away for a little bit. And you know how I got 4 TVs, and I kind of see a lot of ruckus going on, and I look up, and I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Like I had to rewind it. I missed the entire the last 30. I completely with about a minute to go. I kind of checked out mentally and started watching other things. And then I see them going crazy. They hit a shot. I was like, what the hell? I was like, oh, I had to rewind it and watch it back. How amazing was that?
It was great. The whole series has been great. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton's been fantastic.
He's got a chip on his shoulder.
Big time. The Knicks were able to win a game where Jalen Brunson was off. That had to be a little bit of a
pick me up.
A little bit of a warning sign for the Pacers a little bit. It's just so hard to put the clamps on a series. And so tonight will be very interesting because if you're the Pacers, this is a must-win game. You lose tonight, and those 2 home games that you stole, 2 road games that you stole, have been unstolen. And now it goes back to New York, and the Knicks would have momentum and home court and all of that. This is it's a big moment for the Pacers tonight.
And then your Thunder and the Timberwolves, big win on the road last night to go up 3-1 in the series. Pretty much, I think, all but finishes that one off.
That was
a great game.
Was an absolute classic. That game was beautiful.
It was just
both teams were making shots.
Yeah.
Both teams shot better than 51% from the floor. Both teams shot better than, I think, 41% from three. Minnesota's bench was incredible, just incredible. Neal Walker-Alexander, my God, I didn't think he was ever going to miss. He was fantastic. I thought Mike Conley played a good game.
I got a question for you about the game when you get done.
Dante DiVincenzo, who had gotten played off the floor earlier in the series, was just terrific last night. DiVincenzo and Neal Alexander-Walker combined for 10 threes. They combined for 10 threes. If you had told Chris Finch before that game that those guys give you 10 threes, he goes, we're going back to Oklahoma City tied. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had the best playoff game of his career. Jalen Williams was absolutely fantastic. It was his grow-up game. If I'm right, and I think I am, that one day he is considered one of the top 5 to 6 players in the league, you will look back on last night's game and say that was the night that Jalen Williams introduced himself to America. And then the guy that doesn't get enough credit for it, Chet Holmgren in late November fell and broke his hip.
And you were done with basketball at that time.
And he was mentally shot. Did you know he could not walk? The first 6 weeks of that, you're not allowed to get out of the bed. Think about this. You're an athlete. Think about this for a minute.
My has-been.
He put all that offseason work in. His first 9 games of the season, he looked like an all-NBA player. He breaks his hip, and suddenly, not only can he not walk, he can't sit. He has to stay in his bed for 6 weeks and then get up and slowly, can't rush it, can't be rushed. The bone's got to heal, and the bone's going to heal when it heals. This isn't a tough it out thing, right? This isn't.
It does heal a lot faster than me and you, though.
Yeah, but you understand my point. This isn't a sprained ankle where you're going to tough this thing out a little bit. We're going to shoot it up. We're going to wrap it up, and we're going to kind of fight through this. You can't do that with the hip. And so just slowly but surely, and all of a sudden, I think what you see with the Thunder and what you see with Holmgren is he's starting to finally shake the rust off.
Well, he played his ass off last night.
He was fantastic last night. I don't know. I'm sure you've seen the stat by now. The Thunder's big three.
Yeah.
That was the most points that the 3 players have ever scored in Thunder playoff history, surpassing I guess it was the 2011 Grizzlies triple overtime game where Westbrook, Durant, and Harden combined for 94. Incredible. It was just a phenomenal game that was the Thunder have now played 2 of those this year. Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals with Denver and Game 4 with Minnesota, where it was just phenomenal basketball. And if you I told somebody yesterday, they called me. I was like, if that game didn't do anything for you,
quit.
You just don't like basketball.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You don't have to.
No, I enjoy
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that they just don't like basketball. But if you've
heard what I said. I like playoff basketball better because I know who's showing up.
Yeah.
Like that's my only thing. I'm not a no defense guy, all that stuff. My only thing with the NBA, the only thing where my interest in the NBA dwindled over the years because I don't know who's playing every night.
Yeah.
Like you don't have the days where Jordan's, the starting 5 of the Bulls are rolling out there, the Pistons, the Hornets, hell, everybody. You knew who was rolling out there, and you just don't know that anymore. And it's not all of them.
It's not all, but
it's a lot.
There's it's some of the high profile guys,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of dudes in that league.
Because going to a damn game in the NBA is expensive.
Yeah, there are a lot of dudes in that league who play.
Can you imagine taking your kid to go see a game? Like you're going to go see the Lakers play you're from Northeast Mississippi.
Oh, sure, no.
And you're taking your son who's never been to an NBA game, who's a big Lakers fan, big LeBron fan.
And
you're taking him to Memphis to watch him play the Grizzlies, and he's over there because his
load management.
Whatever.
And they've tried to do some things about it. You're not eligible for awards if you don't play 65 games.
Right.
And then, and yet everything is your legacy is determined by what you do in the playoffs. Your coaches are fired based on what you do in the playoffs.
But they play in the playoffs and they show up, and it's a fun product. It's
a big time product.
My opinion, that's just me as a very casual NBA fan. The postseason is such a different and more superior product than the regular season.
Well, you couldn't play an 82-game season like that.
No.
You couldn't do it. You physically would not hold up.
Which is my whole thing the whole time is, did they play too many games? I know why. I get
Sure.
it. Money, all that
Gates
stuff.
and all that stuff.
I
mean, the answer is yes, they do. I mean, why does baseball play 162 games?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, but they do it for the gates.
They that, and then I think these old heads with the records and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to come back to that in just a second. Talked a little bit about college baseball tournament. My favorite time of the year from a college baseball perspective, we'll start on Friday. Squeeze play on ESPN is my favorite thing. Like maybe I may like squeeze play. I wish it was done for college football. There's got to be a way to do it for college football because of so many games on the apps and everything else on the ESPN network. So
I am surprised that college football has not had an NFL Sunday ticket spinoff.
I mean, squeeze play is the best. Besides NFL Red Zone's the best show on TV all year long sports. Even if you're any kind of baseball fan, I love it.
I'm a little surprised the SEC, as big as it is in baseball, hasn't
gone to something like that.
Gone to something like that where they use the SEC network and have just one. I guess the problem would be is that you still want to highlight a game on the network. There would be a temptation if I were them to go to or just do it one day of the week.
Well, you may tell you when they could really do it?
Sunday.
Or do it during the week games on Tuesday, Wednesday nights.
Yeah, not enough interest in that.
But it's better than putting Ole Miss versus Austin Peay on there.
Sure, you could.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you would get something.
Your problem in that is that you're going to have, for the whoever the announcer is in question, he's not going to know anything about Austin Peay and Louisiana Tech and
some of these announcers don't anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but you could get somebody in there that was like DeLucci or someone, Todd Walker. You could get someone in there that basically knew the teams.
Yeah.
And hey, we're going to Ole Miss, Florida. Hey, we're going to Tennessee, Texas A&M. Check in. Hey, the Vols had the bases loaded with one out. Let's look in on Knoxville, and then that gets resolved. And hey, Kentucky's got men on the corners with nobody out, down one against Mississippi State or whatever. I think you could grow it a little bit that way.
You could definitely do it on a Friday night because everybody starts at the same time. You can do it on Sunday because everybody starts around the same. Saturday would be tough because there's 6 o'clock and there's whatever. But I'm
surprised they haven't at least experimented.
I mean, I love it. I mean, I get it. I'm all in on it. So that's fair. And then did you see how Stetson got in the tournament? Did you see that?
I did not.
So Stetson was in the championship game against Florida Gulf Coast, and it was in the 7th inning, and they were up 6-5 in the top of the 7th, and it lightened and rained, and so they were both tied or whatever, for the conference championship, and so they went back and said, Stetson, you get the automatic bid since you were the higher seed in the tournament.
Oh, it sucks.
Like how?
Oh, it sucks.
I mean, like good. I mean, I'm glad Stetson. I'm glad you got your opportunity. But how bad would that suck to technically? They named them co-champs. They named them co-champs and put Stetson in because they were the higher seed in the tournament. I get, hey, you did your work in the regular season, whatever.
And it was probably discussed before the tournament that, hey, if it comes to this.
Because it's baseball, man. It's baseball. And my Troy Trojans, man, they got left out.
Yeah,
and Troy won every single conference series, got beat. But the only one they lost to, the only series they lost was to Southern Miss. They actually beat Coastal Carolina in the series. Good baseball team. They get left out.
I was surprised ULM didn't get a national seed.
All kidding aside, I get why Southern Miss got it. I get it. I'm not arguing because, guys, I get it. But in my opinion, which will buy you a cup of coffee, I don't think you can have it both ways. You can't have 2 Sunbelt teams getting host sites and then leave Troy out of the whole tournament. You know what I mean? Like you can't have 2 of your league teams get host sites.
Yeah.
And then leave the team out of the whole tournament.
Yep.
That actually beat Coastal Carolina in the series. And I mean, RPI wise, they were like in the 40s, I think, or whatever it was. But they were like first 4 out stuff. But like you can't get 2 teams in the Sunbelt Johnny right here, Sunbelt Siskey. I love me some Sunbelt. But you can't have 2 host teams and then leave Troy out of the whole tournament. Stick them as a 3 somewhere or a 4. Guarantee you they're better than some of those 3s and 4s out there because they got a good team.
Yeah. So the 4s are all automatic qualifiers.
I get the RPI. I know. Yeah. But still, they literally the only series they lost all year long.
I mean, I was stunned when ULM didn't get a top 8 seed.
All right. Before we get to life advice,
I mean, from a RPI standpoint, ULM should have been like third or fourth national seed right there with Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Then I can't get. Here's the other thing. Why I'm on that. If I see one more post online, if I see one more tweet online about our team got screwed or our team, and it's freaking baseball. There's 64 teams in it. There's a good chance that any team that's in the tournament, any of them, their players on their team were the best of the best.
Yes.
And it's all about, oh, we got screwed on the draw, or this team got a better draw, or this team got screwed. I mean, I'm sitting here and I was like, dude, Ole Miss freaking like 2 years ago was literally 64th team in and won a national title.
Yeah.
It's baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you run the bases. You try not to make errors. You try to out-hit the other team. You try to strike them out. It's baseball.
You lollygag and around the infield.
Whatever. And then I saw something. Somebody was on Twitter.
What's that make you? Lollygaggers.
Somebody was on Twitter. I saw this because on my For You page, just get hammered with it. Somebody was talking about, oh, they're going to have a chip on their shoulder on postseason because they didn't host. It was somebody that didn't
Georgia
host.
Tech.
And maybe in TCU. Wasn't it TCU or somebody? Somebody was talking about they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. I was like, brother, it's the postseason. If I have to walk into the locker room, okay? If I have to walk in, I don't care if I'm the number 1 overall seed. I don't care if I'm 64th team in. If I'm a coach in the national college tournament where it's win or go home, if I got to walk in the locker room and go, hey, guys, let's go. We got to get you guys motivated to play. I mean, if every motherfucker should have a chip on their shoulder, go play the game.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most I hate people going, oh, they wasn't motivated to play.
What's on
I
them?
just want to just choke the shit out of somebody. It really makes me mad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rain Can. But, like, they're going to play the game because, like, did you feel like you was at the championship game that meant nothing to anybody? Did any point in that time in that game Sunday, did you go, yeah, Vanderbilt don't want to be here. They don't want to compete. Were they trying to lose the game? Was Ole Miss trying to lose the game?
No.
Did anybody try to lose a game?
No.
They compete.
They did.
They're called athletes. I understand that some of you people have never competed a day in your life. I get that. I understand that. And I'm not yelling at everybody, just the people on Twitter like, hey, they're going to have a chip on their shoulder when they show up. Well, shit, so is the number 1 seed. Drives me nuts, man. Drives me nuts. Like, hey, didn't get them ready to play day. Hey, they didn't get no pregame speech in there. Do you know how long those pregame speeches last?
You mean how long they literally last?
Yes.
Well,
especially in today's age.
Depends on who's delivering them, but they're
it
typically
is over.
short.
It is over before they leave the locker room. If you're not,
oh, you mean how long they actually? How long?
What kind of effect they have?
Yeah, I mean
zero.
Very little.
Zero. It's literally to get everybody freaking just. It's more. I always joke. I said the pregame speech is more for the coach than it is for the players.
Yeah.
Because coaches, you got this anxiety just freaking built up for like 3 days, and you finally are in it. Because you can't go on the field and start dropping because of TV and everything else. You can't really show how you feel. You got about 60 seconds to blow your gasket. No, did he? Speaking of, you got about 60 seconds to blow your gasket to get yourself back focused. It's more for the coaches than it is for anybody else. But anyway, sad news. This has happened between our shows. Jim Irsay passed away, owner of the Colts, at 65 years old.
Yep.
Anybody, I've never met him. I know a lot of people that have been in that Colts organization, and I've never heard, but talking about how good he treated his people, like he took care of his own people, philanthropists and all that stuff. Sad, I hate it for the family. Died young, man, 65. And he's had some health issues last few years anyway, but just 65 is not a long time away. These days, that's not very old. The older you get.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then we'll finish this off. We got life advice today. This is right up Neal's alley on life advice. I sent it to your phone. You got it?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
All right. Life advice is presented by our friend Cole Walters, State Farm Insurance. Cole, licensed in auto, home, life, health, business, and pet insurance for the whole state of Georgia. Contact Cole at 706-525-7850. You can also find him online at colewaltersinsurance.com. Says, I'm a father of 2 with the love of playing fantasy sports.
Let's go.
I play fantasy baseball, fantasy NASCAR, fantasy NFL football, with one league being a dynasty league. Lately, there have been a lot of late nights with our newborns. I put Neal to the test and tried watching NBA playoff basketball. It sucked. I hate him. No, I'm kidding. He says, I've really enjoyed it. So I ended up starting a fantasy basketball dynasty league. In a dynasty league, you keep all of your players from season to season and do a rookie draft each year. I was wanting to build a team that was not built to win immediately. If I was wanting to build a team that was not built to win immediately, what would your top 10 picks be for my team going into the draft?
So, Google translation for everybody. He's asking who are the top 10 young guys that you think, because he's going to keep them as they go forward.
Yeah.
That will be years down the road will be a lot of upside to be able to score points. Like you would have said, Chet Holmgren a year ago.
We just talked about two of them. Chet's still a second-year player.
But I'm saying like a year ago, that would be who you'd brought up.
I'll start on the Thunder since they're fresh on my mind. I would absolutely jump on Case and Wallace.
Okay.
I think there's a real world where the Thunder, this is the first year of the salary crunch. I don't think this happens if they win a title, but it could, where they move off of Lou Dort and insert Case and Wallace into that spot. Big offensive upside. I don't play fantasy, so I don't really know how the points and stuff work.
Stats.
He's going to be buried behind Shea and Dub and Chet, but he's going to play a lot. They're super high on him.
What about Jabari Smith?
Yeah, I'm high on two young Rockets. I really think Smith is coming along, and I absolutely love Amen Thompson. And I actually like Amen's twin brother, Alsar Thompson, with the Pistons. I don't know if this counts. I'm a big Cade Cunningham guy. I think he's going to be a superstar.
What about Bronny?
No. No, stop. The kid Stephen Castle with the Spurs that just got Rookie of the Year. Real high on him. In the draft, I mean, if you can get Cooper Flagg, you should get Cooper Flagg.
Good idea.
I think Ace Bailey will be a really good player in the NBA quickly.
What about my guy Clayton? Is he gonna get drafted?
Yeah, he'll get drafted.
Did you see where?
But I have some questions, like just from a size standpoint for him. I mean, he's got a chance to be a really good player, but I'd have to see it a little bit first.
Did you see where the guy came out of the draft, was going to be a first-round pick, going back to Michigan?
Yeah, Yaxel. He's going back to Michigan. I don't know if you saw it, but Alex Condon's going back to Florida.
That surprised you?
A little bit. Carter Knox going back.
Where was Condon's projections?
Early second. Carter Knox, another early second. He's going back. There's conflicting reports about Adu Thero. I think he's going to stay in the draft because I think he's going to go like first round. But it is the thing. The kid from Texas Tech that played so well for them in the tournament, I think he's going to NC State. He got out of the draft. This is the thing. A lot of guys that 2 years ago would have been second-round picks, would have gotten two-way deals, would have played professionally, are going back to college for the money.
What about my guy the young kid from Georgia, Neal? Is he going? Is he in the draft?
Yeah, he'll be in the draft.
Well, how high will he go? Because I know he was high at the beginning.
He'll go high because he's got really high upside.
He was like top 10 preseason, right?
Yeah, he won't go that high, but he's
Asa Newell, right?
Yeah, Asa Newell. Yeah, I like him a lot. So I don't know. I'd have to sit down and have more time and put together a list of young players. The deal is there's a ton of them. There's more talent in the league now than there's ever been.
By the way,
guys are super skilled.
Sunday, I had 4 of the 6 drivers in the perfect lineup.
Oh, quickly. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is going to be a free agent at the end of the season. He's had a great playoffs. Don't be surprised if a team like Brooklyn throws a lot of money at him just to see, and he might end up being a stat stuffer on a fantasy team.
Okay. That's great. That's what you hear right there.
I like his game.
I had 4 out of the 6 in my perfect DraftKings lineup. I cashed, did very well. But I had one driver that crashed late in the race. And then I was basically one accident away from having a top 5 lineup.
Oh, how about that?
I actually won one early in the year. I want a whole deal. So NASCAR is kind of my jam. NASCAR is like the easiest, in my opinion. It's the easiest fantasy there is.
Terrence Shannon Jr. last 2 games has played a lot for Minnesota and looks the part. We had a great career at Illinois. It got overshadowed by the rape charge, which, but it was, he was proven not guilty.
I'm sorry.
He was acquitted. That hung over him. He was one of those, it was a false accusation.
Yeah.
And it went all the way to court, and it shouldn't have. It was a travesty. But that did hang over him, and it definitely hurt him in the draft. But from all accounts, he's a great kid too. He has looked really good the last couple of days for Minnesota.
So you feel good about Pacers Thunder? Is that where you would go right now?
Oh yeah, well, okay, I'll start with Indiana
because that's the one you got confused. I think you're better. You know that.
I had Indiana in 6.
Okay. You think they have to win tonight to get it done in 6?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, probably. I mean, look, New York could have easily won game 1.
Yeah. They should have.
Yeah. And then game 2 was pretty. They played 3 really close games. I think the winner tonight is probably winning the series.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I don't know that Minnesota can come back and beat Oklahoma City 3 times in a row, including twice in OKC. I don't know that that's a realistic scenario. What has to haunt Minnesota is that statistically they beat the Thunder just about in every category last night except turnovers. They turned it over so many times that it simply became a possessions game. Oklahoma City had more possessions. And then their big 3 stepped up and played great. And if you're Minnesota, what has to haunt you is that if you just got if you got a good game out of either Ant or Randall, you win the game. But you didn't. And the pet peeve, the Anthony Edwards thing, this drives me crazy. All the talking heads this morning, I had it on for a little while. How much blame to put on Anthony Edwards? Why do we do that as a culture? Why do we do that? Because what the Thunder did to Anthony Edwards is what is the reason that they won 68 games in the regular season. The Thunder, what they did to Anthony Edwards is the reason they're 1 win from the finals. The youngest team in the history of playoff basketball, basically. It's the youngest team to ever play in a conference finals. They did it with Lou Dort.
You blame instead of give credit.
Lou Dort's the best on-ball defender in the NBA. Cason Wallace is going to be an absolute freak of a defender. And Alex Caruso is one of the best defenders in the league over the last 6-7 years. And they just threw everything at him. They didn't let Anthony Edwards go off. It's not that he wasn't trying. Now, Julius Randle, when he tries to handle the basketball, it goes bad. He shoots threes. He's a force. He's a bull. But when he tries to dribble, it goes bad.
Problematic.
And it led to problems for them. That's why they lost. But I don't know why the focus always is on how much should we blame?
Instead of give credit.
Instead of going,
they did a good job.
Yeah.
It's every sport.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's everything.
Peter King wrote about this in football. He wrote about how it was the year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl over the Eagles, I think, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was writing about all the things that Sirianni did wrong, that Jalen Hurts did wrong. He said literally everybody in the genre, so big-time NFL writers,
yes,
were all writing the same Eagles blew it storyline. He's like, I literally just went into the Chiefs locker room. I talked to Andy Reid, like, tell me about the play that won the game. And he ends up getting this great story about the backstory behind that play. The story last night was, I'm sorry, this bugs me. It's journalism. It really bothers me.
Go ahead.
The story last night was not Anthony Edwards not having the big night. The story last night was Jalen Williams was fantastic. On the road 2 days after the Timberwolves beat the Thunder by 41 points. Beat them by 41 points.
Did you watch the whole game?
Yeah. Beat them by 41 points. What'd they do the next day? The Thunder, you'll love this because you're a coach. Their whole thing is process. Process, stay the course. Process every day, do the same thing. What they do on Sunday, the same thing they do after every other game. They didn't freak out. They didn't throw shit everywhere. They had a film session. There were a couple of reports that it was accountable. Like, hey, we have to play with more force. We have to do this. I'm sure there were some schematic things. Finch fooled him a little bit on Saturday night. Good for him. He's paid to fool, right? But what'd they do? This young team stuck to their course. They stuck to their process. They got ready, fixed a couple of things, got to play harder, got to play with more force. And they did. And they ended up having this classic game. Minnesota played a great game.
No, they did play great.
I don't know why we have to have this thing about Timberwolves, man. Dude, if the Timberwolves don't win the series, everyone's going to go, do the Timberwolves need to shake it up? Do the Timberwolves need... No. Sometimes the other team tried to. Can you imagine if the Thunder last year had gone, oh, man, this shit's not working? No, what'd they do? Hey, we're going to learn from this. It hurts.
Losing's not fun.
Losing sucks. But we're going to learn from this. We're going to move forward. We're going to... And they made a tough decision. They did. All of this stuff is the stuff that I was surprised wasn't written about more. A couple of guys did. Tony Jones works for The Athletic, covers the Utah Jazz, the Denver Nuggets for the most part. Tony wrote a brilliant piece this morning in The Athletic. So there's people that do it. Tony's a friend. I love him. He's a great guy. He wrote a tremendous piece about the Thunder that touches on this. But what they did was they traded a lottery pick in Josh Giddey to Chicago. And Giddey's good. Look, Giddey is an insurance policy, right? If something happened to Shea or something for 2 months, Giddey's the guy that would have come in and run the offense. He played extremely well for the Bulls this year, but they knew they had to get better defensive. They needed to get a little older. They went out in the offseason. They got Isaiah Hartenstein, but they mostly stuck with their guys. And at the trade deadline, when everybody was like, you don't have enough shooters, you know what they said? You might be right. We don't know. But we owe it to this group to let this group try. Yeah. And then we'll get the data and we'll go from there.
All right, I got to ask a question about the game last night that I had the noise down, so I didn't know. Why did they give, at the very end of the game, the fan catches the ball at 0.5 seconds?
Oh, well,
why did they move it to
0.3? Yeah, I don't think they knew. So 0.3 is the lowest possible where someone can catch and shoot.
I know that.
And I think they just arbitrarily stuck it there and said, please, dear God. That was bad.
It's not. Well, they reviewed it, right?
Yeah, they reviewed it, but like they just kind of stuck it. The clock doesn't stop till the ball lands out of bounds.
So they're trying to guess how long it takes for him to get his hands down.
They just stuck a number on it. 0.3 was okay. Well, it would take a miracle, and if they get a miracle, we'll go from there.
Gotcha. Because I didn't know what they were talking about. I just
because it initially
it was going to be 0.5.
It initially went to 0.1, but the fan caught it at 0.6.
0.6. That was 0.5.
But the fan's on the floor, and he catches the ball above his head.
Yeah.
So the ball was going to continue, the way gravity works, was going to continue to go down. And was it going to stay in the air 0.6 of a second? No. I don't know. Yeah. So I think they just stuck it in the middle. I suspect that everybody in the NBA, not that they were cheering for one team or the other, but I suspect when Jalen Williams deflected the last, I bet they were like, oh, thank God. Because can you imagine? Can you imagine?
If he like caught it and got a shot off and it didn't get it off in time or whatever.
Or caught it and went in.
And it was on his tips at red.
Or it went in and everybody goes, they shouldn't have had that shot. Because reality is, I think, had the fan not been there, that would have been the final play.
Yeah. It'd pretty much been the final play regardless. But yeah, that was I had the noise down. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. That is all I got today, boss.
We've been brought to you by our friends at Rain Total Body Fuel.
300 milligrams.
300 milligrams, thank you. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Neal, we've also been brought to you by our good friends at Kia. of Meridian, where spring is in the air, and so is the perfect time to upgrade your ride. At Kia Meridian, we've got the coolest whips and the coolest people to help you drive off in style. Whether you're looking for the fuel-efficient K4, a spacious Telluride, or something sporty like the K5 or Seltos, we've got it all at prices that will make you say, let's roll. Don't forget, don't let the tariffs scare you away from Kia Meridian, because the fan favorites are built right here in the US of A, with interest rates as low as 1.9% on select models, with fresh deals and friendly faces and fun rides. Come see us at Kia Meridian, where spring savings are in full bloom. And don't forget, when you mention the McCready Siskey podcast, when you go by Kia Meridian, they're going to let you spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, more. So check them out at Kia Meridian.
We'll tentatively plan to be back on Thursday. If that changes, we will let you know on social media. A lot of it just depends on press availability and things for me and my day job, which now includes being a baseball beat writer.
You had fun?
It's been fun. I like covering baseball. It's of college sports, it's the easiest sport to cover. The access is great. The kids are good. Most of the coaches are. Baseball coaches are more like basketball coaches than they are football coaches. Football coaches can get really, really, really corporate fast. Baseball coaches have a little more personality, a little more openness, or a little more eccentric, sort of like their basketball counterparts.
And you got plenty of time to write your article during the game.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have a pretty decent body of work on your computer screen by the end of 9 innings, that's on you.
I was imagining like literally the entire article being written and you going, all right, final score is.
Yeah, well, literally just go insert quotes.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Did y'all have, was it press room at the SEC tournament or on field? How'd y'all do it?
It was on field after the Wednesday night game, which didn't end until midnight.
That was my question. What time did you get out?
Well,
what time did you get to the hotel?
About 1. It wasn't bad. Big shout out to Hunter Elliott, the kid who pitched for Florida. I love you guys, both of you. You're fantastic.
Throwing strikes.
They were throwing strikes and dealing. They were both of them. I was a big fan of both of them. As that game was moving right along, I was like, you guys, come here.
Hey, all right. Got a baseball strategy question for you. We got to get out of here. All right. With the regionals coming up, are you a pitcher ace game 1 guy, or are you a save your ace to game 2 guy?
I don't think it's a uniform answer. I am a play to win the tournament guy. There is no difference between finishing second and fourth. You either win and move on, or you don't, and your season's over. So if, like, for a lot of 2 seeds, right, your only path realistically to winning the regional is to save your ace and beat the 1 on Saturday and put the 1 in the home team in the loser's bracket and make them play a bunch of damn games. That's your path. Your path to beating them, because they're a 1 for a reason. They're probably a little better than you, but you've got this one dude who's like Oklahoma, Witherspoon, stud. Oh, what a badass. I got to like watch him. He's a badass. I mean, that dude spins it. If I'm Oklahoma, if I pitch him on Friday and I think they play Nebraska. Okay, cool. Then I go lose on Saturday to the 1 with my number 2, presumably against their number 1. Okay. So we finish second instead of fourth. You're still going back home to Norman and cleaning out lockers. I pitch my 2 against Nebraska and go, if we can't beat Nebraska with our 2, we're not winning this thing anyway. And I'm saving Witherspoon for Saturday. And if I lose with my 2, I don't throw Witherspoon on Saturday morning against the 4 that just lost. Nope. I throw my 3 against whoever that is. And then I save him to try to beat. And if he never pitches, he just doesn't pitch.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you play it. That's it's easier said than done, because I think some coaches are worried about going to the podium.
Yeah.
But
and you know the answer is, guys, that was the strategy. Whether I'm right or wrong, I guess we'll never know because we didn't get there. And if you want to write that I'm wrong, it's fair. But I did what I did because I was trying to win the regional.
Well,
That's it.
I think every school is different. I think if you're the 1 seed or the 2 or the 3, 1, 2, or 3, you throw number 2 on day 1. Now you're the 4 seed, dude. You got to throw the best you got.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
try
yeah.
to try to out hit people.
Well, if you're the 4, you're not winning.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the 4, for the most part, those teams are happy to be there. And it's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't 16 seeds in the basketball tournament, we don't go, hey, you guys, man, y'all go on a roll. No. I mean, you played somebody well. It's an accomplishment, right?
Shut the lights off.
There'd be teams like, who's the 4 here? It's Murray State.
The Racers.
Hey, I mean, the reward for winning is that you get to come play in an SEC venue with a lot of people around and have some fun. Maybe you pull off an upset. Maybe you play a really close game. I don't know. Have some fun. And at the end of it, what they'll always have is, hey, we're Ohio Valley Conference champions. And they get together 20 years from now, and they won't look back and go, man, losing in that Oxford regional sucked. Nah.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you are. I think you're straight up. But I am with you on the side of, like, the point of the drill is to win the regional. Whatever it takes to win the regional, that's what. Because, I mean, look, like in Ole Miss's case, okay, they're playing Murray State. If they can't throw their number 2 guy and beat Murray State, they wouldn't run in the regional anyway.
Right.
So, but if you're the only ones, like maybe the 3, it just depends on your pitching staff. I think every team's probably different.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it would be it wouldn't be fun at the podium though if you roll out your number 2 or 3 guy out there and get your teeth kicked. Not gonna be a fun day at the podium.
I mean, it won't be fun, but there's a way to handle that. I mean, I could give media relations to a coach and say, if you'll just handle this way, yeah, a few of the emotional fanboys in the room they're gonna get a little pissy.
A lot of them these days.
There's a lot. Oh my God. But most people will go, huh, yeah.
A lot of them.
I mean, I had a strategy. It didn't work. Not all strategies work.
It's fair.
I mean, Chris Finch and Mark Daignault both coached tremendous games yesterday. Only one was going to win. I don't think nobody in the Minnesota media who's objective is going, Chris Finch sucks. No, he didn't. Just didn't quite get there. Had a great plan. Just didn't quite work. Daignault had the exact same plan in game 1 of the Denver series that got him burned. They did the exact same thing last night, executed it. Nobody's going, man, those fouls are stupid. No, did what you did. You know this. I mean, you put a plan together. The players still have to go execute the plan.
Unfortunately, that is true.
It's part of it.
It is.
The game's not played by computers. The game's played by humans, and sometimes humans do human things.
Execution's kind of key.
Sometimes the kid drops the ball. Didn't mean to drop it. Just drops it.
Yep.
It happens.
It does happen.
So, all right.
All right, boss.
Talk to you guys soon.